Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Bjorlo. Students of the former Stone Academy are one step closer to closure and a payday. After 2 years, a windfall settlement agreement has been announced between the state, students, and leaders of the failed for-profit college.
Fox 61's Matt Caron was the reporter who initially broke the story and has been closely covering it ever since.
When Stone Academy abruptly shut down on Valentine's Day nearly 2 years ago, it left students heartbroken. And one of their 3 campuses was right here in East Hartford.
It still shocks me, the stories of these students, mostly women, many immigrants, many people of color, women who had other jobs.
Women like Sasha Cancel.
I'm feeling very defeated, very overwhelmed, very disappointed, disgusted.
She was among the roughly 1,000 students who Stone Academy left in the lurch. Their credits worthless, their lives in limbo, without a way to finish a nursing degree.
They did not get the education that they were promised.
In the days that followed the initial closure, Stone Academy students made noise.
I did my time and I need to be compensated.
As days turned into months, aggressive litigation was brought to hold Stone Academy owner Joe Beerbaum accountable.
We sent a letter and an email out to the students.
Now, as the months turned to years, finally a settlement, $5 million, to help make students whole.
So I think everybody's, relieved and happy we got to this because it was hard fought. There's nothing that's going to really make them whole. But I think this is the best we could do under the circumstances.
The $5 million pot will be divvied up among roughly 1,000 students named as part of a class action suit. The amount each gets depends on the impact the closure had on their education. 25% will pay the private attorneys, but none of it goes to the state, who some people blame for not providing enough oversight to catch Stone Academy's failings sooner.
So we're here because the state did its job. We're not the wrongdoers. The state never did anything wrong. The state didn't run a school. It's not our job to run a school. It's our job to regulate.
In addition to the money, the settlement includes a teach-out plan partnership with Griffin Hospital and bars Joe Beerbaum from the business of higher ed in Connecticut for 5 years.
He was a businessman. I don't think he really understood how nursing works, how nursing schools work. He was in the business to make money.
In recent weeks, Beerbaum has come under fire again for dubious business practices at his other for-profit institution, Payer College of Art in Bridgeport. They are separately under investigation by the Connecticut Office of Higher Education, who said Payer College is not currently authorized to confer degrees, as the school's renewal application was denied. Beerbaum is trying to sell and would be forced to divest Payer College if it's allowed to continue to operate at all. A hearing on that is set for March 4th. As for the $5 million settlement, it still needs to be approved by the court and the members. If it is, money could be in people's pockets by the end of winter. In East Hartford, Matt Caron, Fox 61.
All right, Matt, thank you. Well, one New Britain car dealer was hit overnight as robbers snuck into his lot and stole parts from 3 cars.
They stole the tires and the rims off of 3 different cars, as well as one pair of those rims is proving to be hard to replace. And for more details on this, let's send it out to Jamel Johnson.
It was a wrongful conviction nearly a decade ago at New Britain Superior Court, and now a local man seeks compensation and retribution, $5 million worth.
The actual perpetrator is found.
Attorney Alex Taubes is holding paperwork that carries a lot of weight.
My client sat in jail for years, even though DNA test results showed that another man committed the crime.
The New Haven lawyer is representing Alexi Martinez Mercado, a New Britain man who was arrested there in 2015 and sent to prison. He took a plea for sexually assaulting a 4-year-old girl as well as burglary charges. It was a 10-year sentence. However, in 2017, the state crime lab informed the New Britain police there was DNA evidence that ultimately exonerated Martinez Mercado. Still, he sat in prison until his release 2 years ago, which Taubes says takes us to today.
Today, we're filing a claim with the Connecticut Claims Commissioner, Robert Shea, to demand compensation for the wrongful incarceration and wrongful conviction of Alexi Martinez Mercado. We're seeking over $5 million in damages for the 6.5 years that he spent in prison, accused of sexual assault of a 4-year-old girl.
Police have identified the assailant as 39-year-old Taylor Albert Quinones of New Britain. He's yet to be convicted.
We know that another man committed the crime. So for those 6 years that Mr. Martinez Mercado was sitting in prison, the true perpetrator was allowed to roam free on the streets.
Now out of prison, next comes what Talbis calls his client's road to retribution.
He never became bitter. He always had the hope and faith that the truth would come out. And the truth has come out. And now it's time for justice.
And attorney Alex Talbis tells us he hopes this goes to a hearing within the next 2 years. There is also the prospect that they will file a civil suit against the New Britain Police Department. In New Britain, Jim Altman, Fox 61.
All right, Jim, thank you. New developments. A new London officer who was arrested back in November on domestic violence charges was arrested again last night. Julio Gil Martinez was arraigned in court today after police say he violated his restraining order, and a woman that she's the one who had the restraining order against him. She called police again on him last night. It happened around 11 p.m., again about domestic violence. Gil Martinez is currently on administrative leave from New London Police Department since November. He's due in court Monday for those original charges.
The Office of the Inspector General has determined an officer-involved shooting in Wallingford was justified. Officers were called to a home on North Airline Road in October of 2023 for a report that a man had shot himself in the face. When officers arrived, they found 62-year-old Donald Passmore in his bedroom. Video from officers Gordon McCaskill and Robert Bellucci's body cams show them speaking to Passmore from the doorway. Now, according to the Office of the Inspector General, the officer spoke with Passmore for about 9 minutes and instructed him not to touch his gun. The officers fired when he did not listen to their commands. Passmore was taken to the hospital where he died. A revolver was found near the bed where he was lying.
Turning now to the weekend weather, let's send it over to meteorologist Deshaun Robinson with a first look at the forecast.
Yeah, I know, Deshaun, a lot of people are wondering what the chances are they could maybe hit the slopes this weekend.
Well, I'll say a good chance, as there is the possibility that most places could see a coating to 1 inch of fluffy snow tomorrow. So tomorrow morning as you wake up, there will be some occasional light snow showers, and these snow showers will give way to a mostly cloudy afternoon. It's a winter wonderland across parts of the south. Some of this activity will push into the northeast tonight into tomorrow with those snow showers. Right now, it is partly cloudy overhead. Clouds are increasing from the southeast as that system continues to near our region. Temperatures still above freezing in some spots, 34 in Chester, 38 in New Haven, and 35 right now in Hartford. These temperatures will fall to the mid to the upper 20s. Snow showers are looking likely by the break of dawn, and we will continue to see those occasional light snow showers through much of Saturday. Temperature-wise, a bit cooler with our highs dropping to the lower 30s. I'll let you know how the remainder of the weekend is looking. Back to you guys.
Well, the wildfires are still burning in California tonight, despite the winds slowing down a bit.
But forecasters say it won't last long. Firefighters hope for a break soon after working around the clock since Tuesday. Here's what we know about this historic wildfire by the numbers. At least 10 people are confirmed to be dead, but officials expect that number to go up as they make their way through burned neighborhoods. Hundreds of thousands of people have been forced to evacuate their homes, and many hotels throughout the Los Angeles area are now at capacity.
Officials say more than 10,000 homes and other buildings have been destroyed, including schools, places of worship, and local landmarks. Altogether, more than 35,000 acres have been scorched, and that number continues to grow.
AccuWeather estimates that the financial loss will be between $135 billion to $150 billion. No word on what caused these fires, but crews say the Santa Ana winds combined with the drought conditions were a recipe for disaster. You'll find more coverage of the California wildfires on our free Fox 61 News app. Just use the QR code on your screen to download it and then go to fox61.com 24/7.
Well, right now in Stamford, AmeriCares is preparing to send help out west. It's about to send essential medicines, medical supplies, and other first aid to those impacted communities in California. The organization is also prepared to provide emergency funding to help restore health services for low-income and uninsured residents in affected areas.
People with chronic diseases may have left without, very much stock of their medications. So in addition to the direct impacts of that wildfire smoke and debris, the indirect impacts are also very significant.
AmeriCares is helping more than 70 partner health clinics in the path of those fires. The coalition, Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness, called on the state today to invest in its plan to end homelessness. It's asking for $33.5 million. They say the money will go toward its 3 priorities: homelessness prevention, crisis response, and sustainable housing. The coalition says it worked with response providers, frontline staff, and agency partners to create this plan.
Because I have the housing that I need, because housing is a human right that I have, but not everybody does have as they deserve it. It's a really ridiculous thing that we sit here today and we have actually taken a couple of steps backwards. You talk about homelessness being up 30% in the last year, but just because we took a step back doesn't mean we can't take big leaps forward, and that's what we're going to do.
It's reported homelessness in Connecticut jumped 13% for the 3rd year in a row.
And right now, temporary housing has expired for Hartford families who lost their apartments in a fire last August. But the 5 remaining Concord Hills tenants will have a roof over their heads tonight. We reached out to the Connecticut's tenant union, and they said it raised money to keep 2 families in hotels. One family is staying with someone who opened their home to them. Another is staying with a family member. And the final family found another apartment. Now, we're still keeping a close eye on this, and we'll continue to bring you updates.